Hi, friends. We at GLC would like to take a quick moment to thank you for watching our programs on this platform, and we'd like to ask you for a little favor. Would you please go beneath this video and click the subscribe button? Did you know that by simply subscribing to the GLC YouTube channel, you can help us financially support the programs on this platform? You'll need to be signed into YouTube beforehand. But if not, simply click the subscribe button and YouTube will automatically walk you through the steps to sign in or to create an account. By taking these simple steps, you will not only ensure that you continue to receive our unique programming and gain instant access to the hundreds of videos we post, but more importantly, you'll also be telling YouTube that GLC's content is worth watching and promoting. Likewise, if you enjoyed a specific program, please click the thumbs up button below, which also helps inform YouTube that this is a program worth recommending. Finally, once you have logged in and subscribed, please click the notification bell below in order to receive announcements when we post new content. As usual, feel free to post your questions and comments in the comments section below. We always love hearing from our friends and viewers. Again, thank you for watching and supporting God's Learning Channel. We couldn't spread the message of the gospel without you. Be blessed, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Light of the Southwest at GLC. My name is Summer Persifield. I'm your host today. I'm super excited to share another person in our community who has a nonprofit organization, who has a podcast, who reaches out, works with our youth, works with members of our community, spreading hope, spreading love, spreading peace, and the love of Jesus Christ. That's what we're here for. That's what we're about. We're excited to share with you all that she has to offer us today. Please welcome Yanni Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us, Yanni.
Thank you for having me. By the way, what a great intro.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you.
And introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
And how you were directed on this path that you're on, that God's really led you to reach out and work with the youth and young people of our community.
Okay. Well, my name is Yanni Thomas. I'm originally from California. I've been calling Texas home for about, I would say 5 years now. I am married. I just made a year to Aaron Thomas. I would say the journey to working with youth has been an interesting one because I started back when I was in Louisiana before I moved here. And there was a vacancy for a youth leader, I guess you would call them back then, because I wasn't an actual pastor, so I was just leading the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And no one really wanted to do it. And I was like, what do you mean? This would be fun. Like, you get to hang out with, kids and take them to the church conferences and all that good stuff. And I did that for about 3 years, took them to conferences, had the conversations with them, had some of them tell me before they told their parents that they were pregnant. And I was like, okay, but I kind of put it back down and just kind of worried about working necessarily. And then maybe about 2 years ago, I guess I would say, kind of started diving back into it to where I've realized that I think working with youth is just actually my calling. That's where I find joy with working with youth. A lot of times, some people say they don't have like the patience to work with them,
Right.
and I find it easy. So I think that's why I'm like, okay, this has to be from the Lord because it's easy.
Right.
Like it's like, what did they say, riding a bike. So I enjoy it.
I totally understand that. I teach high school students.
Yeah.
And so I hear that all the time from people. Anytime I share my career, oh, I don't know how you do that. I don't know. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. And I hear what they're saying. It has challenges, as I'm
Mhm.
sure you've experienced. But it's like, I love it. I couldn't imagine not working with young people, and it can be such a gift.
Yeah. I realized that what has made it easier for me is remembering that the youth have feelings.
Right.
And they're people They may be little people. They may definitely need help navigating different spaces, but you have to give them a chance to show you their personality, and what they're actually able to do.
Right.
Surprisingly, they're all little rock stars in their own little ways.
Absolutely. And so that's very inspirational. I love hearing you say that you've found that passion.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about how are you using that passion? What is it you have to offer the community?
Okay. So we just literally last night launched Standing in Excellence, my husband and I, which would be or is a nonprofit geared towards youth. So we will be doing things such as life skills classes. We are starting to send kids 13, I should say kids, they're teens and young adults, 13 to 24, boys and girls, affirmation text messages once a week or kind of up to them. So if they want to do it, they want a text message every day, we'll send them one every day. And then we also send letters to the Ector County Youth Detention Center.
Oh, okay.
We send letters there about every 6 weeks-ish. And then I also do life coaching or mental health coaching, depending upon where you're at, where I can come alongside the young adult or the teen, or the woman, and walk them through life. So that can be, let's say a teen has a goal of getting to college.
Mhm.
So I can come and say, hey, what college are you trying to get into? Where are you at? Let's look at that and figure out how we can, do our best to get you there. It's more so really just having someone else in their corner. A lot of them do have parents, but it's just kind of someone extra to kind of push them along the way.
Wow.
So I do that. We have that. And then I also volunteer with Big Brothers Big Sisters and lead their teen life mentorship program there, where every Tuesday between 6 to 8 p.m. at Connection Church, I have anywhere between, their ages are 10 to 17, but it's averaging about 28 teenagers a week that come in, and we teach them anything from how to build a resume, growth mindset versus fixed mindset, job interviews stuff, how to tie a tie, literally, honestly, just about everything, and especially mental health.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's a topic that they really want to learn more about, but just don't know how to ask.
Right.
So,
Wow, I love that you offer that to young people because I know having worked with some of these, teenagers or young adults in our community that they don't always have the opportunity to learn those basic skills at home. Do you find that you work with a lot of youth that are um, come from abusive backgrounds or backgrounds where they maybe have lost a parent or don't have both, the whole family intact?
yeah, to be honest, it's a mixture.
Okay.
Especially with the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. Yeah, it's a mixture. I can't say it's just one because it's two parents in the home. There's one where there's a single parent. I have one living with a grandparent, so it's
Mhm.
kind of a mix, which to me makes it more exciting
Mhm.
because it's like you as an I have to be able to go into the room and articulate the same lesson to all these different kids that experience life totally different. So someone may have a question on this, and the cool thing is sometimes I don't have to answer it. There
Mhm.
may be someone, their fellow peer that's right there that can answer the question. So it's a
That's
mix.
powerful. I know having that peer-to-peer interaction
Mhm.
and just learning as our young adults go through things that they're not alone. They're
Yeah.
not the only one. I know for them a lot of times, or for anyone really, you feel when you're going through a battle that I'm experiencing this in isolation
Mhm.
and no one really understands how I feel. But
Mhm.
once you start breaking that barrier, you find the community that can support you in that.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think one of the activities we do with them is would you rather game, where like you say, would you rather do this, would you rather do that? And it kind of allows them to um, realize that for one, they're not the only one there with that kind of mindset. Like you have youth that they're on the same page as you. Like you have more in common with your neighbor than you think.
Hmm.
So that's a lot of what we try to teach at the Big Brothers Big Sisters program with them. Because I do is trying to get them to see like, your neighbor's going through the same thing. You're not the only one. Let's figure out how you can put some tools in your tool belt to help you navigate life.
That's awesome and powerful and something they'll carry with them forever.
Yeah.
And then hopefully have an opportunity to turn around and help out a friend or a peer or a family
Yeah.
member going through similar situations.
That's what I say. I did. The conversation I often have with God is, Lord, allow me just to remember that I'm just here to plant a seed.
Right.
At the beginning of it, I was trying to plant the seed, water the seed, trim the seed, and then I was exhausted. So I had to realize that I'm not doing this on my own. Like God has given me the strength, the wisdom, the discernment, the knowledge needed to be able to pour into these kids. So stop trying to do it all myself. So I had to kind of remember that just plant the seed,
Yeah.
show up as best you can. Is some days I'm exhausted. There's been times I told the kids, I had a hard day at work. I'm here with you guys. I got you, take it easy on me.
Yeah.
And that's usually the days where, like, if I'm open and transparent with them, they're like, okay. And usually they're, for the most part, they're chill. Or I may have a team that kind of takes over leading the class for the most part, because they're like, hey, you know, she shows up for us week after week.
Mhm.
So if she's saying that, she's tired and she needs help, let's look out for her as well. So those are always sweet moments.
Oh, that's great. So, how has that, or have you had other personal experiences or testimonies, anything you feel comfortable sharing that have guided your work in creating this nonprofit organization? Do you have, or maybe it's a testimony you discovered along the way? Do you have any impactful moments where you felt and knew God was driving you toward starting your nonprofit, standing in excellence,
Yeah.
or maybe some of your own personal history? Do you have anything specific?
I would say so. When I started with Big Brothers Big Sister, because that was in July. This is before the nonprofit really was even thought about. I just knew that I had a one-on-one, and then I served on the Odessa board, and they were like, "Hey, we want to start a program where we reach out to teens. It's called the Youth Diversion Program. So it's teens that have a Class C misdemeanor, and they were looking for a big to kind of lead it. So it's brand new, and I was like, I'll do it. Now, why did I feel like that was the Holy Spirit like poking me during the conference? Just go, girl.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'll do it. Didn't really know what it entailed at all. And it ends up to being where, I'm the main mentor. Thankfully, my husband has free time to where he can jump in and help me too. But come up with the curriculum. It's kind of, we're figuring it out as we go. But with that being said, there's times where I feel very inadequate. Like, I don't think I can teach this lesson. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know that much about it. Like, Lord, okay, like I'm showing up, but I really don't know. And it got to a point where, since this is the first time, we would often ask the kids for their input. And we asked them for, I think it was to write a thank you letter to someone. And never in my mind did I ever think that I would get one. Because in my head, I'm like, I'm just Yanni. Like, I'm coming here and half the time I don't even know what I'm talking about, really. But I got two. And they're actually hanging up on my refrigerator at home, because they're just a reminder that God has me right where he needs me. And as much as I think the kids need me, I need the kids. And those note cards, I think they were like, thank you for creating a safe place for us. Thank you for having a place for us to belong. And in my head, that's going into it. That's all I was trying to do, was create a safe place for them to feel seen, to feel heard, to be poured into. And like I said, oftentimes I was like, I don't think I'm doing this right. So the day I got those letters, and it was everything that like me and God had conversations about, of what I was like, hey, this is what I think I want to do. I don't know if I'm actually doing it. So for them to say like, hey, we're getting this safe place that you're trying to provide. And to the point, because the Big Brothers Big Sisters class is only 8 weeks. But we've had kids that they come back. One has been coming back. We took a break for Christmas, but before that, she graduated easily probably a month ago, and she was still coming. And she said her sister makes fun of her for coming. And I said, why? She says, well, you're done, and you only had to come here because you were in trouble. And I said, well, this is more than a place where you come in trouble. You come here to get loved on. I told the ones that graduate, if you're having a hard week, a hard Tuesday, you know where to find us. Come get loved on. So
God has a way of showing up. I feel you when you say you feel inadequate and you
Yeah.
think, well, I'm just, you know, I'm just me and doing what I feel the Holy Spirit leading me to do. But you being that advocate and that person that you're showing up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And God, I love that God's stepping in and using you in that role. And you get that confirmation that it's working, that this is what you're needed for in this moment. And so that's powerful.
It is. It's powerful, and it's it's I realize, actually, I think today, preparing to come here, it's a faith thing.
Mhm.
Like, I literally go into it, even starting this nonprofit. Um, I'm like, okay, Holy Spirit, like, I talk to God, and I'm like, all right, I'm like, get in the car every day when He wakes you up, and you're like, okay, where are we going today? Like, what do we have today? Even getting to sit down and talk to you January 2nd as a whole new year. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I've been feeling this for like the last couple of months. My husband and I are like, something's happening this year. We don't know what it is. And I'm like, okay. And then I get the call from you today. And then I actually have my first client for life coaching right after this interview this evening.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know what you're going to do, Holy Spirit, but God, I'm just here. Like, I'm showing up. And I think that's what most of what He asks of us to do, is just show up and
Yes.
be. And faith without works is dead. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I've spoken to so many people, and I've had the opportunity more and more through Light of the Southwest, through GLC, through our community, through my career, just our church
Yeah.
family, and I'm realizing that more and more that we're all on our own journeys,
Mhm.
and we feel just like your students and your young adults in your courses. We feel we're in this isolated vehicle and we don't
Mhm.
know where we're going. And if
Mhm.
you allow it, it can really deter you. It
Mhm.
can put you off your path. It can hinder your ability to feel called, to feel worthy, to feel adequate. But if you just day in, day out, you just show up
Mhm.
and you do your best
Mhm.
to bring God in, find God in that journey, He's going to use you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some of that also comes with releasing control.
Yes.
So I got to a point. So we just finished up 2025. So I guess the end of 2024, I was everywhere. So if you ask me, I was on multiple boards, serving at high levels. Um, and I just know that God gave me a servant's heart. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go serve the community. I think once taking a deeper dive into the relationship with God is when I realized, okay, God gave you a servant's heart, but He did not give you the servant's heart to serve everybody and their mama, because they're all not for you to be serving. Like,
Right.
they're not all part of my story. That's not who I'm not. I think that's where some of my getting overwhelmed came from, is because I'm like, wait, this is not where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I had to realize that. And with that came some hard decisions, some hard, you know what, I'm going to step down. Took some time to really talk to God. Um, I would say get it all out. What is it? Detox. And then realize, okay, where am I supposed to be going? Where am I supposed to be? And then with that, this opportunity came to serve with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and that grew. And I realized most times, even tired and all, I probably came out more energized than I went in. And things just started to come easy, and kids were wanting to tell me things and wanting to hang out and asking for my advice. I got invited to two of the girls' graduations. I said yes, and then I realized our graduations are here at nighttime, and I was like, can I get invited to a graduation party?"
Right.
But it's those connections, and I told them, like, you can put us down for their job resumes. Like, if you need someone to list down there, 'cause a lot of times they don't know. They're putting their parents, and I'm like, you can't put your parents down. Like, your employer's not going to want to see that. So giving those tools to know that, it's definitely, it's been a journey, but it's been such a sweet one. That's
Yeah.
why I know, I'm like, okay, Lord, I know this is you, because it's as heavy as I feel like sometimes my flesh or the world may want it to be. He makes it so light and easy.
Right.
That I'm like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's powerful for people to hear, because I know that people um, in our community and beyond have, you know, may hear that voice of God, and he may be calling them to
Yeah.
something, and they have so many things that just stand in the way.
Yeah.
And so just releasing that control, knowing you have to say no to some
Mhm.
things in order to get to the yes that God is calling you to
Mm.
answer. So
Yeah.
that's really,
There's a book by Lisa, I'm gonna mess up her last name, starts with a T though, and it's called The Best Yes. And it
I've heard of it. Yes.
Okay, yes. Just Lisa, Best Yes, the Google will do the rest.
Yeah.
But in the book, it talks about how you can't say yes to everything. Saying yes to everything will miss your big opportunity from God, so you have to know.
Right.
And then Pastor Cliff kind of got on to me. I think it was about the time I stepped down from a lot. And he was like, "You're just busy, but what are you busy doing?" And I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
Not quite sure.
Right.
So I kind of had to take a deep dive and realize that I was like, oh, I'm busy being busy,
Right. Yeah.
doing nothing at all.
Yes.
So now I'm busy, but in actuality, I'm not. Tuesdays are busy, but other than that, I'm usually at home,
Yeah.
or in the community doing other things that
Yeah.
wherever. I kind of now get the joy in picking and choosing
Yeah.
where I volunteer at. So whether it be Meals on Wheels, where else do I volunteer? At Nimitz, where my husband works now, I'm able to kind of go there and step in and help them. So now I get to pick and choose.
That's one thing that I love hearing you say that, because I've experienced something similar, my husband and I, and we're always talking about, we're just so busy, busy, busy. It never ends, never
Yeah.
ends. And when the joy is gone,
Mhm.
how much are you truly serving
Mhm.
in the first place?
Mhm.
And so God's not going to call you into a position to give more than you have to give,
Yeah.
to a point where there's no joy, there's no peace from you.
Yeah.
So that's when I've found, even for myself or for my family, we can stop and check ourselves and
Mhm.
say, okay,
Mhm.
there's no more joy and peace in this.
Mhm.
Then either God isn't using me in this situation anymore,
Mhm.
or I've let myself get in the way too much. And either way, you got to take a step back.
Yeah. I had a friend that she said, what did she say? Get over yourself.
Yeah.
So I had to realize a lot of times we do a lot of things sometimes because of our flesh and ego.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in my head, yes, obviously I was serving the community, but some of those roles were like, oh, this is really like a big leadership role, or I get to be on this board. How cool is that? And, you say like, oh, I'm gonna talk to God. And you say, okay, God, if this is for me, let it be. But you don't even really wait to hear the answer. You just gun it because it's like, oh, like for me, I was like, oh, I'm serving, so this has to be,
Right.
this has to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I had to realize, I was like, wait, I probably signed up for this because of my flesh or my ego or my pride,
Yeah.
which none of those are good judgments to go by at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it took some time to realize that.
Or even like your book reference, saying yes to, I know me, and I don't know that this is all women, but I think it's a common issue for women who are mothers and natural caretakers
Yeah.
and wives. And we feel the need to say yes,
Mhm.
because if we don't, then somehow maybe we're not adequate, or we're not enough, or we're not, all those stigmas and the self-talk that we give ourselves in our head,
Yeah.
that, so I have to, or I'll be seen as
Mhm.
blank. And so I can definitely relate to that.
See, and my thing is, I think I went from started off. I had to learn that I was a people pleaser,
Mhm.
especially being the oldest. I felt like I had to take care of everyone, do everything for everyone, and it was my responsibility. And then I realized, what? I'm not God.
Right.
It's not my responsibility to take care of everyone. And I had to take a step back and realize, okay, I only can do so much.
Yeah.
And it's funny how you say I'm not enough. Is one of the things we possibly think of. I have a friend that gave me this ring 4 years ago. That I was getting dressed for this show. I put it on. It's the one that says "I am enough" on my
Oh,
thumb.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. And like you said, you always have more in common with other people than you realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine the people that you interview on your podcast. Let's talk about your podcast for a moment. It's called Standing in Your Truth.
Yes.
So what sort of, or who would be your typical guest, or, how does your podcast work?
So the podcast is honestly something similar to this, except it's just audio. We come and I just find people that have either a story they want to tell, or maybe I've sat down with them and I'm like, hey, you have something, that I feel like a lot of people may have in common. For instance, for Mother's Day. Typically for Mother's Day, nothing's wrong, but we always see like the typical kind of like mom stories. Nothing wrong with that at all. I wanted to take a deeper dive.
Mhm.
So what that means, I interviewed moms that had miscarriages. I interviewed moms that, one of them was my aunt. She's now a grandmother as well. So she's, I guess, mom two times over. So I interviewed her. But it's just taking, I guess, a deeper dive into life. I started it because I went through a divorce. And for some reason, I felt like I was the only one going through a divorce or navigating these spaces. So I got on there just talking and chit-chatting and not telling, what my life looked like and figuring out what career I wanted to do. I realized I just turned 35, like literally probably a week or two ago. And I just realized what I wanted to do. Like I realized, hey, I am a people's person. Like I love helping people. But it's the journey to get there. It's the journey of going through therapy, getting rebaptized. All that was on the podcast.
Wow.
Dating before I married my now husband, like, girl, it's all on the podcast. So it was just like a girls, but it was like, it's Christian based. So it's like, what does life look like as a young Christian woman?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. It really intrigues me to go and listen to, I've listened to some of your content, but it's very relatable. And it's comical to me now because when you're on the other side of something, you can really see like, oh, wow, I really had some blinders on, but like you felt like you were the only one going through a divorce. I've had experiences that I've gone through and I'm like, yeah, nobody knows what I'm feeling and how this has worked out. And, but on the other side of that, I love that it's given you a passion and a drive. It has similar to me that if you have gone through something, then you can use a platform like a podcast, or we have, amazing opportunities like God's Learning Channel to share people's stories and testimonies and spread awareness that number one, you're not alone. Other people have gone through these things and how God, more importantly, how God has pulled them out of it. So you're spreading the faith and the hope to other people. And
I tell people all the time, you're not alone. You're seen, you're heard. Even sometimes we're in situations where we feel like we've messed up too bad, or God can't see us where we're at because, it's such a quote unquote, according to the world, a dirty place. And I've had to learn through my relationship with God that God sees us wherever we are. And nothing catches God by surprise.
Right.
So even when that bill is due and you weren't prepared for that, God already knew. So have the faith to know that he will cover it. You will be okay. He will supply. A lot of times we get in our way because we feel like, oh no, we have to do it. No, have the faith and trust and believe that you serve a God, a Father, that he's right there with you.
Yes.
Most times we just move out the way.
Get out of the way.
Just move out the way and let him come on in and help you out and be like he's like, okay, I've been here. Now you're going to let me show up or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he not only brought you the confidence and inspiration for your podcast and reaching out to people, but your partner, it sounds like your husband, y'all have partnered together in starting this new nonprofit. So many doors opening right there for both of you to go in and be a forceful power in the community together.
Even I'm in school right now, and that has been, God has been all in it. So, traditionally, first of all, I've been in and out of school. Each job I've had, I thought I wanted a career with that. Good girl. So I had to realize, girl, find out who you are and then go figure out what degree you want, not based on the job.
Oh,
it's temporary.
That's smart.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm at Odessa College now studying entrepreneurship, which is pretty much like business classes. I think I've paid maybe $400, and I'm actually at the point where I graduate next spring with my associate's degree, and then I have another year and I graduate with my bachelor's degree.
Wow.
And I'm on track to, should be getting scholarships for the bachelor's side as well. Spring's already taken care of, so, but God has been in it.
Right.
And I think with me taking that time back in 2024 to kind of refocus and realign. He's like, okay, well, it seems like you're paying attention. So now I've gotten all these scholarships that I'm like, how did I even get this? What? Not me. And I realized since then that, so I'll graduate in 2027 with my bachelor's. And then the plan is to then go to TPB and get my social work degree.
Awesome.
And then hopefully down the line, open up my own practice and be able to see youth and women. By the way, I just don't see youth. I do see women too for life coaching and mental health coaching as well.
That's awesome.
But youth is, I feel like a lot of times for some reason they get left out or no one believes that they need to be heard. So,
Right. Or even I can imagine as a family that maybe has a single parent income or they feel just financially it's not available. They don't prioritize it.
Mhm.
I would imagine do you see that a lot?
Yes. And a lot of times people think that it's not affordable, but I would say call the Alpha Center because there's more than one payment option. And then there's virtual appointments and there's in-person appointments. So let's just say you're seeing this somewhere and you're not local here. Hit me up. We can do a virtual appointment. I got you.
Awesome. And you can be found on social medias.
Yes.
Any particular platform?
You can look up the Standing in Excellence on Facebook or the standinginexcellence@gmail.com. You can email that and I can get you plugged into whatever avenue you want to go in. So, yeah.
What about giving for your nonprofit organization, Standing in Excellence? You said you just started it.
We
yesterday.
just started it. We're a baby in it. I would say contact us on social media, and then we can get you plugged in from there. If you would like to support us in this journey of supporting the youth, the next generation, that would be the best way to do that. Or email as well.
So you said that you started out a little bit, maybe just because no one else wanted to do it, but you stepped into a youth leadership role. Have you found that in our local community that other churches and youth programs are being utilized as much as they should be, or have you received a certain level of support from those organizations?
To be honest, I haven't reached out to church youth programs. I know for sure at Hope Alive, Pastor Brandon, there's like 60 of them back there. So
Yeah.
they're definitely being utilized. I think the avenue that I'm taking is more of, thanks to Big Brothers and Big Sisters, a hands-on with those that, people say, what is it, at-risk youth? I don't like that title. I like to say it now, I've started saying youth with untapped potential. Like, there's something there. So I've kind of gone more of that direction, which surprisingly, I've seen one or two of them that go to the church that happen to be in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. And I say, we look at each other and I'm like, you look very familiar. And they're like, you do too. And then we figure out that it's from church. But
Funny.
I probably eventually will collaborate. I would love to, especially I'm realizing we have a lot of the kids that I stop and talk to that are getting ready for college. And they're kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready or not. So I would love to maybe do a seminar or something with them and sit down and talk about their feelings and why they're feeling it and how to kind of how to cope with that going forward, as far as maybe something for the parents and something for the youth as well.
Okay.
Because I think those are life milestones that need to be talked about.
Right. For sure. Especially for those young adults that come from homes or backgrounds where maybe they're the first to graduate and they're the first to venture out for anything college related.
Especially if, you're taking the big step and you're going, somewhere that's not local. So you're away from home. Like you say, you could be the oldest kid. And so some homes, the oldest kid, for my home for a second there, I was the second parent. So it's like that can take, a toll on, the mom, the other siblings, and the one that's leaving for school.
Oh, you're speaking to me because my oldest is, she'll be a senior next year. And I think she mentions all the time how she's ready to go.
Yeah.
But I'm not ready for her to go. She is the second mama. She helps me with everything.
Yeah. So the cool thing about, I would say, the mental health coaching and the life coaching is I feel like it's a little bit easier to digest than therapy, because therapy takes that deep dive.
Right.
Where life coaching or mental health coaching, I'm coming alongside of you and walking with you. So you're telling me, hey, what are your goals? Your goals are to make sure that your daughter is ready to go to college. mentally, emotionally. Cool. Well, let's look at what does that look like? What goals do you have for her? What do you want her to be able to do? That's where I come in. For you, let's just say, hey, Yanni, she's going to school. I need someone just to, walk me through that. Cool. Let's set some goals up for you.
Okay.
But that's just how light and easy that is. I say I'm an accountability partner. So it's obviously with coaching, I can only instruct you and give you the tools, but
Right.
you guys have to do the work.
Right.
So it's me just kind of pushing you along to become their best self.
So what would that accountability look like? Are you do you have like weekly, monthly appointments? Do you just do phone check-ins? Like logistically, how would that work?
So it kind of up to you. So you guys, someone can come see me weekly. They can come see me monthly. And I think it also depends on the goals.
Mm.
Let's be mindful. We have short-term, long-term. So if you, want to hit the goal before seeing me next, then obviously depending upon it may take a little longer. And then also depends on the setup you want. Do you want me to be texting you every day or checking in with you, kind of weekly? Kind of up to you. I think with being new to it, I'm trying to figure out what works for me, but also keeping in mind that I'm okay with doing things untraditional.
Okay.
Like I want to do what's best for my client, for them to actually get to their best selves and be what God has called them to be.
Yeah.
I feel like I had to have someone in my corner that said, hey, you're a rock star. And luckily, right now, the person in my corner is my husband. He pushes me and tells me, you can do it. And we're talking about words for the new year, instead of New Year resolution.
Right.
Everyone says new year, new me. I'm like, I realize it's new year, same me, trying to get over the same habits.
Right.
So, let's just be realistic here. But my word for this year is, I told him it was dream. And he was like, okay. And I was like, you don't like my word? Like, what do you mean? And he was like, once you say dream big, like have the faith and dream big. And I was like, oh, see, that's why I married you.
Yeah.
You took my word to a new level. I wasn't prepared for that. But yeah, so now I'm already dream big. Why not?
I love that.
Yeah.
And earlier I heard him as he was praying before we started.
Yeah.
He mentioned that in the
Mhm.
prayer, we have a God of big and mighty things.
Yeah.
And so reminding ourselves that our dreams, if it's big, it's big to us. It's
Yeah.
never big to God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But a lot of times we limit, and I'm saying we as in me, because it was me for the longest. What is it, the imposter syndrome?
yeah.
I was like, I would never, even for my podcast, I would put it out. People would be listening, and I'm like, oh, somebody wants to listen to what I have to say?
Right.
You don't owe me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Lord. And then I was like, use me. What do you want to talk about? Where are we going with this? And I think that's where it makes it easier.
hmm
Like in this conversation, like, you prayed here and I prayed on the way and played praise and worship music all day today to get me ready. And I'm like, Lord, use me. Let your words come out of my mouth. Don't let it be, my flesh, my ego.
Right. And it's
That will
so
get us nowhere.
And I love that you're sharing that because that's such a common mentality. I mean, because our flesh, we're all human. We naturally, instinctually go there and
Mhm.
make it about our own image, our own everything.
Mhm.
And you have to make a conscious effort to ask God to remove you out of it and for him
Mhm.
to step in. And you have to give him the space.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you find yourself repeating,
Mm.
those old habits, or you find yourself, as you shared before, in situations where you start questioning, why am I here?
Mhm.
And that's when you've gotten in the way and you need to reevaluate.
Mhm.
But it's never too late to do that
Nope.
either. So
Nope.
we're gonna mess up and we're gonna do that.
You
so
are. You
I love
are. Fun fact. Fun fact. You will do some things wrong. Just in case you didn't know that already. Let me go ahead and just let you know.
right. You are not
We
perfect.
will make some mistakes. But the beautiful thing is God is right there. And just repent, turn around, change your ways. If you don't have a relationship with God, I would say get that relationship over religion. Start talking to God. Have conversations with him. Pray. Open your Bible. I just finished reading the book of Proverbs. I asked my husband which book I should read for December, and he said Proverbs. And I was like, God, dog, Proverbs is all about wisdom. It's quite interesting. But get in your Bible. Have conversations. Get friends that'll pray for you versus talking about you. Those are things that I found made a difference for me.
Yeah. And I like that you said you prepare even for, having a conversation, an interview, or when maybe you have a decision to make coming up, that you prepare yourself in the spirit and you play worship music and you really internalize what it is God's asking you to do and
Yeah.
for God to speak through you.
Yeah.
So how has um, that mindset and that practice influenced where you are with your podcast and your nonprofit and your husband and your
Yeah.
faith?
I think it's influenced it huge. It's to the point where I literally, like, when we pray and stuff, I'm like, okay, Lord, um, I want to go and spread your kindness. Like, I want people to look at me, they say, oh, she's God's daughter. Like, I can call her and pray. I can call and have a conversation with her about something hard, and she'll guide me to the best of my abilities. But it's huge. And Pastor Cliff preached a sermon, it was probably a minute ago because I haven't been consistent with church. But anyway, and it was talking about the salt and the light and how it said be.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, like when I first read that, I was like, okay, the salt and the light, like it's something that like I have to work like to get to that point.
Hmm.
And when he did the sermon, he was talking about how to you be it, like you already are it. So go and be the salt and the light. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's kind of what I was saying the last well, he preached, or wherever he preached it, but kind of changed my mindset to where now I'm like, okay, I want to go out and be the salt, like, and I want the flavor that I give off to be like kindness and love and peace and people to feel seen and understood, and then the light to shine light on the individuals that I'm talking to or the youth that I'm in the community with, for them to see just how awesome they are, but also how awesome God is. And at the end of that scripture, if I'm correct, it talks about how you can't be hidden. And I've had to realize that no matter what I try to do or what my flesh may want me to do, I can't be hidden.
Yeah.
Like I'm out in places and people are like, oh, I love talking to you. And for the longest, I was like, why do people always want to talk to me? Like, I don't mind it, but I'm like, I don't understand. Like, what am I giving off? And then I realized on the line, like, this is just the gift that God is giving me for people to feel comfortable, to open up, and um, for me to be able just to listen to them and for them to feel heard. So,
What you make it very easy to connect
yeah.
and to feel, oh yeah, I've experienced that. I've been having that as we're sitting here having that conversation.
Yeah.
You made me think of something in my own career. I'm a teacher and I teach high school students, and
Mm.
for the longest time in my career, I thought, well, I have to separate, God and my faith from the classroom,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what we're expected to
Mm-hmm.
do, told to do. And then as I started growing and developing my relationship with God, I started seeing that, how He's using me right now, where
Mm-hmm.
I am right now. I need to be
Yeah.
the light right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And that means every day in my classroom, throughout the day, I see 100 plus, not just students. I used to see just 100 plus students.
Mm-hmm.
But God revealed to me that it's 100 plus souls.
Mm-hmm.
Those are His children,
Mm-hmm.
and I have the opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to speak to them, to encourage them, and that can go one of two ways, and how dare I silence that part of me and that faith and that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've kind of broken down those walls and started influencing through my own personal experiences
Yeah.
and sharing things, my testimony with my students. And then I've had so many of my kids and just students in general, over the last few years since I kind of shifted my mindset,
Yeah.
come up and share things with me about their own faith journey or their own, family. And
Yeah.
so I really love that you say that, because I think we can all find ourselves, no matter what you do, no matter where you find yourself, you could you could reflect on that and say, what am I doing right now? How could I be used right now and where God has me?
Mm-hmm.
And I can see how you make a great life coach, because you make me want to open up all these things. It's
Yeah.
not about me, it's about
Yeah.
you.
No,
But
it's
you know what I mean? I feel connected to what you're
yeah.
saying because I absolutely understand.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell you, I don't know. It's the Holy Spirit. I just go with it because I'm like, okay, Lord, yeah, let's let's go. Let's see where you're gonna lead. And I just listen, and then I've had to learn though to not everyone is for me to fix.
Uh-huh.
Not everyone is my client. Some people just need someone to listen to, and I've had to learn that. And I had to learn that through trial of trying to fix people, and then I'd be frustrated because I'm like, well, what you call me for? And then I'm like, Yanni, people call you just to talk. Like,
Yeah.
chill. Take that hat off sometimes. But I had to learn it. But yeah.
Well, and you reflect, the Spirit of God whenever you have that peace and joy in your life and you're able to pour it into someone else's, even if it is through listening, or that loving correction at times. That's I'm sure what makes your coaching impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely, I learned from my clients that weren't my clients, my friends before. I was like, I'm definitely very, I guess, lack of a better word. I don't want to say stern because I'm not mean, but it's one of the things where we're going to be straightforward. Like, if you have this goal, we're going to work toward this goal. If you get off track, I'll tell you you're off track, but I am going to help you get back on track.
Right.
But we're not sugarcoating. It's not going to get anyone anywhere. So,
Oh yeah, accountability is key. Yeah.
I've had to learn that too.
Yeah.
That's a big word. Accountability. Ooh. Accountability, transparency.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah,
Those
for
are all,
sure.
they make your life better. But that first bite, ooh, it'd be stinging.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially I'm sure sharing your own personal, like I felt that way before when I'm like, if I'm going to coach, guide, and
Yeah.
teach in this aspect, well, I got to be careful and hide what I don't want them to see the real, like they may question my ability to coach, guide, and teach if they really knew.
Yeah.
But I've learned that the more you share about what you've gone through, the bigger and in better ways God can step in and use that. That's what changes people. That's what helps people.
The test is only part of the testimony.
Yeah.
So you have to be ready to step up when it's time to give your testimony, to answer the call. You just have to be ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for your nonprofit and standing in your excellence, the mission of your nonprofit, clearly define that for us as you're working with these people and stepping out into the community. What is the goal and mission for that nonprofit?
I would say the goal and mission for Standing in Excellence is to see the teen and the young adult right where they are, to get with them and say, hey, where are you trying to get to in life? Or to even, sometimes teenagers don't always know. I just said I turned 35 and I just realized it. So you may kind of have to guide them somewhat along the way you think they may want to go, but it's really just to get in there with them, get your hands dirty, my husband and I, and just walk life through them, walk life with them. So that's teaching them life skills. That's maybe helping them figure out how to apply for an apartment. That's letting them see, holding up a mirror for them to see how amazing they are. That's what it is. It's really just getting down and they say getting dirty, but I don't know why it's getting dirty, but maybe personal is a better way of saying that, and walking with those teenagers and young adults.
Okay. And so if people wanted to give to your organization, they could obviously financially support you in that service, but they could also, would you also receive supplies, resources?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I would say, like, if you own a company, one thing for sure I really want to do this year is we have a part where we do like resumes and job applications. I would love to be able to give these kids a chance to actually get interviewed by like someone that an HR person that really does their interview, for them to get practice.
Right.
Before throwing them out to do a real interview and the employer's like, what do you mean you don't know your address? I really want them to have as many life experiences in a safe place as possible. But yeah, so I would say supplies, pencils are always a big thing. Anything for the art-wise, paint, all that. We'll take it all. 'Cause I just try to do a little bit of everything with them just so they can kind of get the experience.
Okay.
In a safe place. I always say we have a safe place. I tell them, I said, hey, you respect me, I respect you. Because there was one week where I called them, they were a bunch of chatty Cathys. They got to the point where they all knew each other and they were all friends and they all felt comfortable. And when I tell you would not stop talking, and it was about 28 of them, when I say would not, I mean would not. And I was like, well, I guess this is just going to be a free class because they need this time to obviously release something. Because I mean, it wasn't crazy conversations, but they were just having like these little heart-to-heart moments in these little groups. And
Wow.
we were trying to teach a lesson, and that lesson was not happening. And I was like, okay, Lord, let me step back and
Well,
let whatever's happening happen.
yeah, it's great you provided that space because I'm sure you've seen this, but I'm sure a lot of those kids don't have other safe places to do that or
Yeah.
connections outside of that,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, no, they've let me know that they don't,
Yeah.
which is why like the ones that don't that come after they graduated, that's one thing they say. You come here, well, they say two things. They come for the safe place, and they come because we provide a meal. Also,
Yeah.
so they come for that
That's
too.
what
And I'm
gets
like,
them in there.
okay,
That's all right.
yeah. So and that's another way we would love to take donations if you like to donate a meal. The kids love pizzas, hot dogs, spaghetti. I had a friend that ate some spaghetti and they tore that up. So
Okay.
yeah.
And that's your class every Tuesday night at, I'm sorry, where was the
Connection Church
Connection Church.
in Odessa. Yeah.
Okay.
The Big Brothers Big Sisters has a office there, so they allow them to use a classroom on Tuesdays.
So if anyone was interested in becoming a big brother or big sister, they would just reach out to that
They can reach out to
organization.
I would say reach out to Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Permian Basin. Did not know that was a tongue twister until now. And then they'll get you plugged in. And you can let them know if you want to do like the one-on-one where you just have one kid, or if you like to participate in the Life Skills program, and they'll get you plugged in.
Okay. Awesome.
Because I mean, we would love to have more bigs that come along. Because like I said, right now it's me, and then my husband steps in when he can, but it's primarily me.
Okay.
Even I went there one time and I was sick, and I was like, well, I don't think I'm contagious. We're just gonna roll with this.
Wow. You just show up as much as you can. So whenever you're working with the young adults or the teens through the Big Brother, Big Sister program, do you find that I heard you mention earlier that they are basically assigned a course initially because they've gotten into some sort of
Trouble.
trouble. Is that through the school system, the courts?
So it's actually through the court.
Okay.
It's the municipal court, but it's just the teen one.
Okay.
And these are kids, like I said, that have Class C misdemeanors. So it's the ones that I traditionally get are got in trouble for vaping or fighting. Literally, that's since we've started this in July. They fit in those two
It's an
categories.
epidemic. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary because I feel like it's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
And I realize a lot of it comes back down to kids not knowing how to regulate their emotions.
Yeah.
Like you're fighting because you're angry, but why are you angry? You're smoking because you're trying to compress something. What are you compressing? And at the end of one of the 8 weeks, we asked the kids, like, what topic did you enjoy the most? What would you like to hear more of? And surprisingly, a lot of the kids put mental health. I think once you get them to where they realize they're safe, they're like, we really would like to know more about, coping skills, which is what we try to teach them, like, breathing techniques. We have a feelings wheel for teens for them to see, like, you're happy. Why are you actually happy? What's making you happy? You're angry. Why are you angry? Are you disappointed? Are you let down? For them to actually really understand what they're feeling. So.
And I'm sure that, like you said, they don't know how to navigate those feelings. But if they're in situations where obviously they're making poor choices depending on their home life or their own circumstances, they're in survival mode.
Yeah.
So that changes their responses.
Especially we have some that, the ones that get into fights, and we're like, afterwards, towards the end of class, like, was that fight worth it? And they were like, no. And they tell you, like, it was my friends that ended up pushing me to fight. Well, cool. Let's have a conversation. Are those really your friends? Or they're just because you feel lonely and you have to keep them because, you feel like, you have to have someone. So it's kind of getting them to think at that level. They don't always have an answer immediately, which I've had to realize I don't push them to have the answer. And like, again, if I can just plant that seed and for you to start thinking about that stuff. So when you're at school and you're like, bro, I don't want to do this. Why am I doing this? You don't have to. Yeah. Don't let your friend get you in trouble. Because one of them, the friend pushed her to do it, and the friend got off good, and she hadn't ended up in the class.
Right.
So I was like, you still talk to her? She's like, well, and I was like, I don't understand why, because she, obviously she did the action, but she kind of set you up, my girl.
Yeah.
So it's having those conversations with them gently, but it's the accountability.
And they're so necessary. But I'm just thinking of my own life experiences and
Mhm.
people I know as an adult and myself as an adult. Those are skills that if they're learning them at their young age,
Mhm.
it's going to carry them through life because I always try to tell my students, there's always going to be someone or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that you don't like, that they don't like, that there's conflict. You cannot escape conflict.
Yeah.
And you have to you have to figure out how to deal with that conflict or what you are and are not okay with.
Mhm.
So that's really valuable. That's a
Mhm.
valuable skill for them to start developing now.
Yeah. I think something that I'm gonna try to incorporate for this year with the kids we see is mission statements.
I like
For them
that.
to kind of know like who you are, what you stand for, what you don't. So those conversations when your friends try to have you do crazy things, hey, this is not what I value. This is not what I want to be doing. So let me change that. So hopefully that kind of plants another seed for them.
In those groups and in that setting, um, are you free to speak about your faith and your journey and bringing God into it, or is that something that you kind of allow them to bring in? Because I know you're working with people from all different
Yeah.
backgrounds.
It's a mixture. So I think the first group I had, there was actually one young lady, who straight up came to me and told me that she did not believe in God. Um, and she had some other things, and I was like, I kind of turned my head, and I just said, okay.
Hmm.
And I think she was expecting an argument from me because she knew that, like, I was a Christian, and I was like, I'm not gonna argue with you. Like, if that's what you believe,
Hmm.
cool. But you know what I am going to do, which you probably don't know I'm doing, is praying for you to really get to know God, because I'm not sure what hurt happened, because it was the passion behind what she was telling me. Then there was some hurt there. So I'm like, I'm not sure what person or what happened. So I just didn't argue with her and kind of I pray for all the kids afterwards, or during. But yeah, it's kind of a mixture. We have some, like I said, 'cause there's some that go to Hope Alive, and they told me that they see me at Hope Alive. And there's some, like, when we do different activities, they mention God on their thing, activity. So it kind of just depends. We don't, since I'm working with Big Brothers Big Sisters, I don't push faith because they're not a faith based organization.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I am a Christian, so it comes out whether I want it to or not.
Sure.
So yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you're, I guess you could say living it out, I guess. Like
Yeah.
it comes out whether I want it to or not.
Well, and like you said earlier, you realized your job is to plant the seed.
Mhm.
You don't always get to water and nurture the seed and let it see how it
Yeah.
blooms. But
Yeah.
planting that seed, and you don't know
Mhm.
what God's going to do with that and how
Mhm.
that's going to impact their life later on.
Yeah. Even surprisingly, sometimes you think like you see these kids in these classes and you're like, like, they probably never remember you. I got a text message from one of the kids for New Year's. And it said Happy New Year, and he calls my husband Coach. Tell Coach I said Happy New Year's too. And I texted back and said Happy New Year's and I stay out of trouble.
Hmm.
But it's like, oh, okay. Like, see him out in public. They're like, hey, they want to come talk, and this is my mom. If you didn't meet him already, and I'm like, okay, Lord, like
That means a
something's
lot from a
working.
teenager.
Yeah, that's what and I was telling, like, who was I talking to? I think one of my friends, and I was like, hey, teenagers like me. I feel like I'm like, this is points in my book. Like, they're coming up to me, they're wanting to be in the class, and I'm like, then I had to realize, Yanni, it's not you. It's definitely like God is doing something through me, but it's not me.
Well, and they can tell you care about them because
Yeah.
I'll tell you something as my experience in teaching high school and the experience I've had working with different age groups. If they know that you care,
Hmm.
they're going to show up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what content, what the lesson. If they know you care for them, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. Because the ones at Nimitz, my husband makes them run, and they don't like it then, but they always tell him after the fact, like, thanks for making us run, even
yeah.
though we didn't want to run. And I'm like, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it
Yeah.
was such a joy to get to speak with you today and
Yeah.
learn more about your podcast, Standing for Truth, your nonprofit that you and your husband are venturing on,
Yeah.
Standing in Excellence.
Yes.
I know our viewers are eager to contact you, connect with you, you can find them on social media platforms. Don't forget to check out GLC's website, glc.us.com. We have more content available on our YouTube channel. Lots of things are happening. We're growing, we're expanding our reach, we're getting connected with other nonprofits and organizations in the community. We'd love for you to be a part of it. Let's close today with prayer.
Okay.
And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Father, for this opportunity. Thank you for this time, Lord. It was such an honor and a privilege to speak with my friend Yanni. Thank you for the works that she is doing out on the grounds. It's all for your glory, Father, all to bring souls to your kingdom. We thank you and we glorify you in your holy name, we pray. Amen. Thank you for
Amen.
joining us.